Hi, I'm Nisha DeGaring, host of Good Things Utah, and I've been a longtime supporter of Todd's Beliefcast. I hope you find inspiration in the courageous stories shared by the amazing people Todd features on his show. The guests serve as shoulders for us to stand on, allowing us to see a little further and cultivate belief in oneself. Remember, you have the dignity and power to change. I encourage you to keep striving and believing in yourself. Enjoy today's podcast.
I love that quote, by the way. The most delightful surprise in life is to suddenly recognize there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah, so I'll have my clients on
It's
day one.
so awesome.
On day one, they just got out of prison and they're sitting here. I'll have them read that. And I'm not kidding you, Natty, probably almost 9 out of 10 people start crying.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, have you ever heard that before? And they're like, no. Mm-hmm. It's so beautiful. And I'm like, well, I'm telling you this on day one.
Yep.
I know there's a lot of work to do, but you're good.
I feel the same way when we're working in prison.
Yeah.
Being able to just say to them, look, like the things we're going to talk about and the things we're going to teach you. I teach to CEOs of multi-billion-dollar companies.
Yeah.
I didn't walk in here with a prison curriculum to teach you because you're some kind of prisoner or inmate or broken person or addict or felon or how many labels have been slapped on you that you've claimed and owned.
Yeah.
I didn't come in here to teach you. I came to teach you because you're a man or you're a woman with unlimited potential.
Wow.
So let's reframe that, right?
I
When we start with that, it's always amazing how they sit up a little bit straighter and they pay more attention.
Boy, right?
Right?
Yeah.
We had a CO that came in our class and sat in for just a second, and he said, people don't talk to them like that. And I said, like what? And he goes, you were just like unapologetic. And I said, exactly. And I said, I told him, I will show up here and I will respect you as the human beings you are, and I demand you respect me.
Yeah.
Right? You should demand I respect you, and
Absolutely.
I'm going to demand you respect me right back.
Yeah,
and he's
right.
like, people don't talk to them that way. I'm like, why not? Right?
They don't know Natty.
They don't know. they don't know the concept, I think, of expectation, right? It's just so much of that. But
well, man, this is a great way to start this off, guys. That's Natalyn Lewis, or better known as Natty. Thank you for being here.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be back.
Yeah, this is the Todd Sylvester Inspires Beliefcast podcast. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in week after week. You guys are fantastic. I pinch myself, honestly, every week going, I can't believe where this is taking me and taking, and how many people have been touched by the stories. And I look back on the guests that have been on my show. And by the way, this is your second time on. And I had such amazing feedback from your first one. Just the energy. I mean, again, we talked about your energy, if you remember last time, and you are just this energizer bunny, but you're just very passionate. You're a wife. You're a mother of 4 beautiful children. You're a former NCAA Division I athlete. You're very passionate about the power of the mind. You learn quickly how powerful our minds can be, good or bad.
Absolutely.
You've got your own story around anxiety, which we're going to get into, which we didn't touch too much on the first time. And you're really big into emotional intelligence. I'm excited to talk about that because I think a lot of people don't understand when you hear that, oh, emotional intelligence. Yeah. And everyone's like, yeah, what is that? So we're going to get into that. So guys, you're in for a treat today, but I want to thank my sponsors, Craig Swap and Associates, Wasatch Recovery, Thread Wallets, Maury Nutrition, and the beautiful music you heard at the beginning and at the end of this podcast is by my good friend Paul Cardall. He's an award-winning pianist, and he's got 25 million active listeners every month. He's unbelievable. So, Paul, thank you for letting us use your music. And that was a completely different intro than I've ever done. But what you were just saying about how you approach these people who are in prison, I don't want to get rid of that. It was beautifully said. It was so good. I'm like, we're going to start there.
Well, that sounds good to me.
So for those who may not have heard your story, and when I say your story, you've been through a lot. You do a lot of great things. You've got some funny stories. You've got, but you also got some really, beautiful stories, powerful stories. What could you tell someone right now who doesn't know much about you? Let's get a little bit into that. Like, tell us more about you.
Yeah, well, I grew up and I was just one of those self-confident kids. I grew up and I was an athlete and I had my own business. I was the youngest of 6, and I think by the time, when you're the youngest of 6, you better just figure it out sometimes, right? And I just had, I thought I had it all together, right? And then I was a college athlete, and I had college down, and I got married, and I was like, I don't know what everybody's complaining about. This life business, it's not that hard, right?
Yeah.
And then I had my 4th child, and I was on bed rest for 7.5 months.
Oh, man.
And I was literally stuck in a lazy boy recliner, incapable of moving. If I even stood up to put a dish in the dishwasher, I had contractions and would go into labor. And I'd never been through anything like that. I'd never been through something that took away a core part of who I believed I was, which was my capacity to move my physical body.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what it was going to feel like to have a chunk of identity ripped from me. And I didn't understand how important that was. And the next thing I know, I am dealing with health problems. I'm dealing with emotional problems. I dealt with debilitating anxiety. I started getting to the point where I thought I was having heart attacks multiple times a day. I was deathly afraid of what was happening to my body. I didn't know if I was dying, if I was sick, if I was hurt, if I couldn't wrap my head around it. I started going into deep depression. I had postpartum. I had all of it stacked on top of each other. And all of a sudden life and what the emotional, mental side of life is became extremely real. Wow. And I had no idea what was happening to me. And I was paralyzed by the fear of the uncertainty and the unknown. And I didn't realize at the time that what I was experiencing was anxiety. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And what happens so frequently with people is they don't know.
Yeah.
Emotional intelligence is the concept that we can start to understand emotions to the point where we're stop being afraid of them. So many people, paralyzing fear about anxiety. You hear it all over the place. Oh, I got anxiety. She's got anxiety. I might have anxiety. And everybody is afraid of this thing because it feels like this unknown thing that's wreaking havoc on our lives. It's making my heart race and my stomach feels like hamsters just got let loose and I can't think straight and I'm sweating all of a sudden. And I don't know what just happened to my body.
Yeah.
And we freak out about it because we don't understand it.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. And I found myself literally in the fetal position in my closet, incapable of moving my arms and my legs. I couldn't move them. I could not command my brain to move my legs and my arms, and I ended up in the hospital for severe anxiety and a panic attack. And I couldn't make a move.
Wow.
And I had a hospital worker walk in. I had been through tests for a full day of tests, and everything was coming back. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. I'm like, oh, like heck, there's nothing wrong with me. I can't move. Something's definitely wrong with me,
I'm
right?
A mover and
I'm broken here. This was what I was thinking. And this woman walked in to talk to me about my children. And I thought, why is she talking to me about my kids? And my brain started connecting the dots. And I realized, like, they're evaluating me right now. And there was something in that moment that I literally felt in my brain, like something clicked.
Really?
And everything turned on and my arms and legs started moving and I was getting the heck out of that place. We're not going to talk about my kids, right?
Right.
And I went home and they wanted to put me on medication, and it was a really interesting thing. I'm not anti-medication, let me just say that.
Yeah.
But for me, when they said, we want to put you on some anxiety medication, and the number one side effect of that is depression. I was like, that doesn't seem like a great idea for me.
Yeah.
Then but we have depression medication we can put you on, which the number one side effect is suicidal tendencies, right? And I was like, this just seems like it's going from bad to worse.
Right.
Like, I'm not on board with this game plan. And I couldn't stop thinking about that click that went off in my brain. I couldn't stop thinking about, what was that?
Yeah.
When everything turned on, I had control again. What was that? And I started to study. And I started to engage, and I started to put all of the pieces together. And then years later, when I came across My Story Matters, which is a nonprofit organization that I've partnered with, they had 14 years of research and development in the same space. And as we started to put all of the pieces together, we came up with a framework that has just been so invaluable in helping myself, others. Like, I went from having debilitating anxiety attacks to I don't take medication, I don't experience anxiety, I don't have panic attacks, I don't live with that anymore, because I learned to understand it. And with understanding, I could change my belief. And with a change of belief, I could change my behavior. And if I could do that, I could control it. And I think that that's where it all starts. It starts with just understanding it.
Yeah, I love that you say that, because I'll ask my clients, they'll say, hey, I feel really anxious or whatever. And I'm like, define anxiety for me. You know, like, what is it? I'm asking them this, right? And 10 out of 10 are like you said, I don't even know what to tell you. I can tell you what it feels like,
Right.
but I can't tell you what it is. And so I love that you know, like, what was that and what changed, and that you decided to go deep dive into this research to figure some of this stuff out.
Yeah, because it's the same thing. I didn't know what it was. What I knew is what it felt like. I knew
Yeah.
it felt like I was having a heart attack. I knew it felt like I couldn't breathe. I knew it felt like somebody put a weight on my chest and was standing on top of it. I knew it felt like somebody let hamsters loose in my stomach and then put me on an elevator to ride up and down over and over again. That's what I knew it felt like. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to make it stop. And I didn't know how to get control of it. And because of that, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
And think that fear, ironically, gives us anxiety about anxiety. And now it's worse, right?
Right. It just
And
feeds off of each other.
It feeds off each other. And
Yeah.
now everybody runs around out there having anxiety about anxiety, and it's just worse, and it's getting worse.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you know, again, you have so much to your story that I want to tap into today, if we can, a little bit. You know, we talked. You know, I mentioned that you're a Division I athlete. This was obviously before you were married, correct? And the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So back, like you said, this is the first time you'd ever experienced something like this. How were you as this athlete? Were you this? I mean, did you step on that court like with all the confidence in the world? You know, did everything just seem to fall into place for you, or did you have your moments there too?
Oh, we definitely had our moments there too. I didn't feel anxiety in those moments, and what I did learn from that was actually the key to anxiety. I learned the key to overcoming anxiety. I just didn't realize it at the time.
Really?
So much of what I would experience as an athlete was a lack of identity, which often came from a lack of vision.
Ooh, I love that.
Now, people, if I ever say vision, they're like, oh boy, here we go. We're going to get with the woo-woo. We got to talk about dreams and all the
Yeah.
things, right?
Yeah.
And I used to be the same. I'd be like, why do we got to talk about the big dreams? I need solutions. I have real problems. Hamsters live inside of me. Like, we stop talking about dreams, right? But I didn't understand at the time was that if I don't have anything to look forward to, the only thing I'm looking at is what's behind me. I'm constantly looking back at where did I came from?
Yeah.
What happened then? Why did that go wrong? Where was that? Where was I? What did somebody do to me?
Yeah.
And if we're constantly looking back, where will we go when the next moment in life comes?
Right.
We'll go back
We'll just
because it's
keep
the
going back.
only thing we're looking at.
Yeah.
That's like my kids. I love my kids. I got 2 teenage boys, and the summertime is here, and all their teenage friends are here. And I don't know what it is about teenage boys and being half naked all the time. They don't like to wear clothes, and they eat like
Right.
horses, right?
Oh,
So I
right.
got the twice weekly Costco situation at my house. But I was so proud of myself.
Yeah,
It was
right.
on Monday.
Yeah.
I just stocked the fridge, just stocked the pantry, and now I got half naked boys standing at my fridge. Open it up, and next thing you know, you hear this, Mom, why is there nothing to eat? I wanted to pick them up and chuck them
yeah.
down. I'm like, I just stocked that thing.
Yeah. I just
Like,
spent
what do you-
$500 at
Right?
Costco.
I just stocked it. And I said, well, what do you guys want? And they were like, I don't know. And I want you to think about this. It's such an obvious concept, but
No, yeah, it's hilarious.
we cannot find what we don't know we're looking for.
Oh, wow.
So when we don't
Yeah.
have vision, when we don't have something forward looking that says, this is what I want, this is what I'm going after, the only thing I can look at is what's behind me, where I came
Yeah.
from, who I used
Yeah.
to be, what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
And I will go back. As an athlete, I learned that. I learned that if I was walking into today's game and I didn't know what I wanted today's game look like, I didn't know how I wanted to show
Dang,
up
that's powerful.
at today's game. I didn't know how I was going to be my best self, whether I got to play or whether I was riding the pine, regardless of what was happening in that moment. How was today's game going to be for me? If I didn't show up with that, I was staring at yesterday's game. I was staring at yesterday's practice. I was staring at yesterday's belief, which leads me to be stuck in the past.
Yeah, I love that. So give us an example. So like, what would it look like? Like you're getting prepared for the game. It's going to start in an hour. What are you telling yourself in those moments? Like, because to stay in the moment, and what would you tell yourself? This is what I want for this game.
Yeah.
What would you say? What were some of the things that you would go
Yeah, it was
to?
literally a picture. It was literally a picture while I was putting my cleats on of what it would look like and what it would feel like to be victorious that day, whether I was the one scoring goals or assisting, whether I was the one cheering them on or sweating my butt off on the field. What was victory going to look like for me that day? I knew I wanted to win. I knew I wanted my team to win. I knew I wanted to be on that field. I also knew I didn't have total control over whether I was the one on the field or the one supporting.
Yeah.
And when I got stuck in the mode of, if I'm not the one on the field, then who cares? I got stuck looking at a picture of the past.
Okay.
Stuck looking at myself in high school. I was this all-star athlete. Like, why I should be on this field right now, looking at the past, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm in college now.
Yeah.
There's a new level of play.
Yeah.
There's new teammates, and the kids I'm playing with are talented and they're good. And I couldn't get stuck staring at a past history or a past belief or a past hope. I needed to look at the future, look forward and say, what do I want this game to look like? And how do I declare victory in this game, regardless of what my role gets to be? What if I'm here? What if I come off of the bench? What if I start? What if I'm cheering on teammates because I'm not playing? I needed to just have a picture of how I was going to show up victorious regardless.
Wow, I love that. How am I going to show up? That's
How am
a
I gonna
great
show up?
question, right?
Yeah. And it's important because if we will forward look that, how I'm going to show up.
Yeah.
That is what I ended up learning was the answer to anxiety. The picture of what is in front of me changed everything from staring at what was behind me. And the reality is, when we are stuck looking at what's behind us, we will always feel anxious because we cannot control the past.
Yeah. Past
And
is
so
gone.
it's gone.
It's
And
over.
I can't control it.
Yeah.
I can't change it. I can't fix it.
So what I'm hearing you say, and I want to make sure I'm understanding it, is if we can be more in the moment of, this is what I got to do here today. It doesn't matter what happened last week or last year or in high school. But if I can have a vision, like you said, that's what's going to help you stay or give you the tools, I guess, and the ability to not feel anxious.
Yeah, it's the first key because the number one thing that creates anxiety is thoughts of concern. We have one thought and it spirals. I have one thought, which is, oh my gosh, I forgot to buy the groceries. I forgot to buy the groceries. My boys are going to walk in the house. They're going to want something to eat. I don't have anything for those boys to eat. And I forgot, oh my gosh, I didn't even remember to buy. I forgot to buy that too. And next thing I know, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a bad mom. Now I'm a bad mom because I forgot the groceries. I forgot to buy their clothes. They have no clothes to wear. They have no food to eat. And now I didn't even show up. And we spiral. We spiral. And next thing you know, we got the hamsters going on. We're sweating. Our heart's racing. And I'm anxious about life all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And I'm anxious about life because I'm focused on all the things I'm concerned about. I let my thoughts swirl into that space. And where did it all start? With a thought of, I didn't do this in the past.
Wow.
And all the ramifications of the past, which I can no longer control.
Dang, that's powerful. This reminds me, and I hope I get this right. Jim Carrey was once asked, why do you do comedy? And he said, my whole purpose in doing comedy is to free people from concern.
Yeah.
Even if it's just for the hour that I'm talking.
Even if it's just for the hour.
So I love that you said that because it's so true, right? All these thoughts of concern are running rampant. No wonder we, go give me some medication.
Yeah.
Give me something. Where in reality, the problem is ultimately we're allowing our thoughts to control us instead of us controlling our thinking, right?
Well,
and we talked a lot about that last time you were on because it's a real thing.
Well, it's we start looking at life as if it's happening to us instead of us happening to life. If life is happening to me, what control do I have? I just got to sit there and take it in the teeth all over and over. But if I take control of life, things are different, right?
Yeah.
And it requires a picture. I'll give you an example.
Yeah,
so
please.
I've got I have these teenage boys, love them to death, and one of the things we have to do, we share responsibility. And I've got an event that I've got to do, and I was preparing for that event, and I said to my boys, I need you guys to clean the kitchen. And so I go into my office. I'm starting to get ready. Next thing you know, I hear the music is cranking. I mean, so loud. My office, like my desk is vibrating because the music's cranking in the kitchen. And I'm hearing some screaming coming from my 11-year-old. And I'm like, what is happening in there? And I walk out to the kitchen. And I'm witnessing three boys. And I'm like, the kitchen's for sure worse than when I left it. Like, there's water everywhere. My 11-year-old's running around the center cabinet because the other kids are flicking him with the wet towel. I got one kid who's literally line dancing, and the water's running in the sink. And I'm like, what is happening in this room, right? And so the only thing I can think of, right, is my concerns. I'm supposed to be in here. They're supposed to be doing the dishes. The dishes aren't getting done. My presentation's not getting done. Nothing's getting done. And so guess where I spiral to? I'm not going to have ready. I'm not going to be ready because this didn't happen correctly. And now spiral. What's my picture?
Yeah. Chaos.
Yeah. So I'm putting my little guy to bed that night. I came down. I bring down the mama hammer, right? It's like, boys. So they get it together. They clean the kitchen. I'm putting my little guy to bed that night, and he said, "Hey, Mom, why'd you get so angry when we were doing what we were asked to do and having such a fun time doing it?" And I thought, oh, my gosh, from the mouths of babes, right?
Right,
I'm like,
that probably hit you right in the gut.
Right in the gut. And I realized, like, my gosh, what was my picture? Well, my picture was chaos. My picture was failure. My picture was disaster. My picture was disobedience. My picture was out of control. And my picture was everything I couldn't control, which was my boys. I can't control them.
Right.
And so I didn't have a picture of a future of me being on stage successfully delivering a presentation, even if it was waterlogged, with a happy family, right? I didn't have that picture.
Yeah, right.
So I decided, I made a very conscious choice of like, I am going to shift that picture. Well, I had an opportunity to test that out about 2 weeks later. I had another presentation I had to get prepared for, and I said to the boys, do the dishes. And I go sit down, same thing, here comes the music. And I was like, oh my gosh, not again. But I was walking out the door and I thought, change the picture.
Yeah.
Like, who are you? Right? I am an unstoppable daughter of God. And from that space, how do I show up?
Wow.
What is my picture? My picture is not delivering a perfect presentation from a perfectly silent home where 3 boys are not boys. They're perfect, obedient little crisp, clean children with coiffed hair. Like, that's never been my picture. So why is that what I'm trying to create?
Yeah.
So I walked out there and I was going to say something. I just had this feeling like, just watch. And I watched as my 17-year-old son had gone down the hallway. He had gotten a cowboy hat, cowboy boots. I mean, he was decked out, and the whole boot scooting boogie's going on. He's line dancing. My 11-year-old's trying to follow along with the line dancing. My other kid's doing the dish. Water's everywhere. And I just thought, I'm going to let this ride. I went back in and I started doing my presentation, and I could do my presentation just fine. Yeah, even to the boot scooting boogie, right? I finished my presentation. I come out, and what I witnessed was 3 boys who had started in that kitchen as boys walk out as 3 brothers. The kitchen was clean. Yeah. It took them 2.5 hours to do what it would have taken me 15 minutes to do, and it got done. And the difference was that was how an unstoppable daughter of God shows up, with a picture of what I actually wanted, which was to deliver real content that's genuine and authentic, not perfectly coiffed. Yeah. To have a real family that's authentic and genuine, not perfectly coiffed. Yeah. And powerful. It might be messier to do the dishes, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Wow. That's beautifully said. Thanks for sharing that. That's powerful. I don't know if you ever watched the show back in the day, Home Improvement.
Yes. Little Tim Allen.
Tim Allen. And I remember his kids are same thing, running around the house, and they've got a football. And the kids are running through and the mom's screaming, and the kids are screaming. And Tim goes, hey, kids, stop. And the kid's got the football, and he's like, he grabs the football, he goes, you don't hold it like this, you hold it like this. Right. Gives it back to him, go. And they kept going.
That's right.
So it kind of reminded me that's what you did. You just like, hey, I'm going to let them do their thing, and it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's going to work out.
It all boils down to the picture that we hold in our head of what we're trying to build for the future, and not the picture associated with the past.
Dang. That's so powerful. I love that. You keep referring to identity. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that for a minute, because that to me is key for so many things, if not the key of everything, right? Yep. So talk about that, because I love that you reminded yourself in that moment of who you are. Mm-hmm. Because I hope I'm saying this right. Not only did you have a picture in mind, and you kept it good, but at the same time, you also reminded yourself of who you are. They kind of go together.
They do.
So
and
talk about that, because
Yep.
I think that's our listeners need to hear
Yeah.
why that's so important.
Well, that's why I said vision's the first step, because vision's
Yeah.
the foundation to identity. If I don't have a picture of what I want to build, then how do I know who I am in that process?
Yeah, right.
And so having that picture of what I want to build allows me to establish who I am and who I want to be. I think identity is the root of all motivation. When people tell me, I can't get my kids motivated to do anything this summer, I say, well, who are they? I'm like, well, they're my kids. Like, this kid's a punk, and this kid right here is disobedient. I'm like, well, fantastic. Keep telling them that, and let's just see how that goes
Yeah,
for
see
you.
how
If
that
they ever
plays
want to
out.
kick
Yeah.
in, let's just see how that story ends. Because, I could get some popcorn and a drink, or I could just skip to the end and tell you right now, they ain't never doing nothing for you all summer long, right?
Yeah, right.
So I say to these moms, I say, who are they and what do they want? What's their picture? She goes, I don't know. They just won't do anything. And I said, okay, great. So what's the picture? She goes, I don't know. I said, ask them. Ask them what they want.
Yeah.
So she asked her kid, she's got a 7-year-old boy who she just could not get to do anything but play video games. And she woke up and he fed him breakfast. And while she was feeding breakfast, she said, hey, what do you want today to look like? And he goes, oh, I want to go to the lake. And she goes, okay, well, we could do that. And he goes, but not just go to the lake. I want Dad to be there. And I want my older brother to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to be there. She goes, okay, so you want to have a family outing at the lake? And he goes, yeah, family outing at the lake. And she said, okay, what do you want that to feel like? He goes, oh man, it's going to be so great. The sun's going to be shining. We're going to have such a good time. And I love it when we go out on the lake and then Dad puts me out on the back of the boat and then dumps me. And then he laughs at me and teases me. And it was like he was in it. He could see it. He could feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, okay, what kind of kid shows up to that lake event? Is the kid who just sits in the basement playing video games all day long, just hangs out among all the trash that you're collecting at your video game? Is that the picture of the kid who shows up on the lake, or what does the kid on the lake show up as? And he goes, no, I'm excited. She goes, okay, so what does it look like to be excited today? She said, I'll tell you what, I have 3 things that I need you to do, and then we're going to work on getting to the lake. How does an excited kid that's getting ready to go to the lake do the dishes and clean up his room and practice his piano?
Yeah.
And he goes, he does it really fast. And she goes, he does do it really fast. And he goes, he does it because he wants to be done so he can go to the lake. And she goes, he does get it done. And she goes, oh my gosh, it was like magic. He just took off. And I said, yeah, but that's because today he was excited to live a life he could see and picture.
Yeah.
I said, what was he waking up to before? Picture of yesterday? What did he do yesterday? Sit and play video games all day long? So who was he? The lazy, disobedient kid that you told him he was 14 times yesterday?
Right.
With a picture of what that looked like? So he's going to wake up and he's going to go where? Back. And if we just entice people to look forward and remind them, like, if that's the picture, who are you in that picture?
Yeah.
How do you show up in that picture? What do you feel like in that picture? And when they'll start to claim that feeling and start to claim that character, they can show up completely differently.
Wow, I love that. That's beautiful. So cool. Yeah, because I think identity, like, it's one of the things I try to teach my clients. I'll ask them, who are you? And they literally cannot answer the question.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll try sometimes, like, oh, my name's Todd. I'm a counselor, and I'm a father. And, and then they look at you like, I don't know.
Oh, I know. That's because most people try to claim identity as the role.
As the roles. Yeah, I'll often say, well, no, you're not a father. And they're like, yes, I am. I'm like, well, no, you get the title and role as father because you have kids. It's not who you are.
Yep.
Kind of thing. And so I love that you're so big into that, because I think that's so helpful for all of us to understand what that is.
Yeah. Well, I think there's so many parents that I talk to these days that they struggle with their kids turning in their homework. Can't get their kids motivated to turn in their homework.
Yeah.
And I think this is a perfect example of that. Ask the kid who they are in that. And when they're like, I don't like being a student, I don't like going to school.
Yeah.
And they'll say, I don't like going to school, because the picture they have is, I'm a student.
Yeah.
And they don't even like being a student.
Right.
So are we going to like turning in our homework?
Not at all.
And the next thing that happens, if you can just say, well, what do you want? What do you want?
Yeah.
We had a young man who just would not turn in his homework. And we said, what do you really want? And he said, I want to be a pilot. And so she said, have you looked at school? Let's look at it. Let's dive in. Let's look at school. What does it take to be a pilot? And he went out and looked and found out he didn't even need a high school diploma to become a pilot, but he did need 25 credits, college credits that would transfer. And he had to get a B or better.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, he's enrolled in all his school classes, turning in all his homework and getting A's and B's, because it's not about being a student any longer. What's it about?
Yeah, it's about becoming a pilot.
Becoming a pilot. And then we went further. And we went further, and I said, what kind of pilot do you want to be? So do you just picture yourself flying planes, like being somebody's employee? And he goes, no. I want to be a pilot because I want to fly private jets. I said, ooh, private jets. Who's on this private jet, right?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I have exclusive clients. I said, ooh, exclusive clients on a private jet. I like it. So where are you flying to? And they go, oh, they're like vacation destinations. I'm their pilot that takes their family on vacations on their private jet.
That's powerful.
I said, okay, awesome. So they want to hire the kid who barely squeaks by in school, yeah? And he stopped and he goes, no, they want the best. I said, oh, so you're not just going to be any kind of pilot. What kind of pilot are you going to be?
Yeah.
He goes, oh, the best. I said, what kind of best pilot? What does the best pilot look like? And he goes, well, they're reliable and they're like focused, because you got to be focused if you're going to be flying a plane.
Mm-hmm.
And they take care of themselves. And so I said, what does it look like physically? Like the best pilot that's reliable, focused, like what does their physical health look like? He said, well, they gotta sleep, because they can't be like sleep deprived when they're flying a plane, and they gotta eat well because they gotta be healthy. Like what if there's an emergency? They've got to be able to lift stuff and crack doors open. And he had this whole picture in his head. And I said, okay, if that's the physical body of the best, most reliable, focused pilot, then how do you show up focused, reliable in your physical life? What does your spiritual life look like?
Yeah.
What does your connection to God look like? How do you show up for your family? How do you show up for the people in your life? If you want to be the kind of person that they want to take on their private jet with their family on vacation, how do you got to treat your family?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this whole picture shifted.
Yeah.
And his mom's like, what just happened to my son? Right? Like we went from not turning in his homework to going to bed at night and eating better, and like he doesn't want to drink soda anymore. We had this whole conversation, and I said, well, that's the thing. He knows who he is now.
Yeah.
And he's not a 17-year-old student. And he never wanted to be a 17-year-old student.
Yeah.
And his picture was like mundane classes that are pointless.
Yeah.
Would any of us enjoy turning in our homework when our picture is mundane classes that are pointless?
Makes more sense.
Yeah, as soon as he had the picture and knew what he wanted, he could dial that into who he was. And with the picture, with the identity, came an emotion. And guess what? Identity is the root of all motivation. Why was he now motivated to go to bed at night? Because it's what he wanted and it's who he was. Why was he now motivated to turn in his homework? Because it's what he wanted and who he was.
Yeah.
Identity is the root of motivation, and the picture and knowing what we want is the start of figuring out our identity.
Dang. It's beautiful. Love that. That hits home. It really does.
Yeah. It affects everyone, whether it's yourself or your kids or the people in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. And it hit me so hard when you walked out of that room. Instead of getting mad at the kids, you asked yourself, well, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you were able to answer that with conviction.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and the thing that's so cool about that is that regardless of where you're at and what you're doing, this works. And it's such a beautiful thing. We were at the prison teaching, and I love being there. I love having an opportunity to work with the people there. We had one class that had a really tight shift, and we were running late, and there's like an opening, right, where you have a time before there's going to be they're going to open things up, and you got to run through there and get through the next gate and get into class before they have movement.
Yeah.
And I was by myself because I had to get to this next class, and I came out, and I realized I'm out of time. Like, I don't have any time. They're going to close the gate and then open all the gates, and I got to get like a half a mile, and I got like 5 minutes. And I haven't run a half mile in 5 minutes for a hot second. So I was like, I got to be booking it.
Yeah.
So I hadn't been feeling very good the day before, but I've got my backpack on and I am out there. I am running like as hard as I can because I have this picture in my head. Again, comes back to picture, right?
Yeah,
But I
right.
got this picture in my head of getting stuck in there and they're going to have movement. It's just going to be me and all the inmates. I'm like, I love these people, but I don't feel super safe in that situation,
that might be a little
right?
scary.
So a little
Yeah.
freaked out. So
Yeah.
I am booking it. And while I'm running, my lungs are on fire and my legs hurt. I'm not feeling well. And I kept saying, I am an unstoppable woman of God. I am an unstoppable woman of God because I just kept thinking, I got to move. I got to make it. So I'm running. Well, I get to class. I make it through the movement gate. And I am sweating up a storm. I mean, I am literally just sweating. And I'm sitting there in class and this gentleman walks in and he goes, oh my gosh, it's you. And I was looking at him thinking, should I know him? I don't know him at all. And we get to this point in class and we were talking about being there and he goes, I know that God sent me to this class today. I said, how do you know that? He said, because I was sitting in my cell and I was praying. And I was praying to God, God, you got to send something, like something's got to change around here. And I looked out my window and I saw this woman. And she was running, and she was running hard. And I was like, I got to have that kind of passion. And then I show up to this class, and it's you. And I just laughed so hard because I was like, I didn't have control over that moment.
Yeah, right.
I owned my identity. I'm an unstoppable woman of God. And I did what I could do, which was run my butt off based on my picture. And he did the rest.
Dang.
When we'll show up in our identity, when we will just own it, when we'll claim it, it drives and motivates our behavior in such a way. Things can happen that are outside of our control, that are positive, that are good, that are beautiful.
Yeah, that's so beautiful said. Thank you so much for sharing that. You keep going back to this statement. You're an unstoppable woman of God.
That is my identity.
That is where that's your statement, right?
Yes.
That's the truth you tell yourself.
That's right.
I know you're a woman of God, an unstoppable woman of God. Why is God so important to you?
Because the concept of God for me is unlimited potential. As a woman of God or as a daughter of God for me, it means that there is nothing I cannot accomplish. People talk all the time about, oh man, look, that's your dad. I mean, we got kids in the NBA right now and they're like, oh, this player, his dad was this, his mom was this. We got baseball players that do the same thing. We've got a host in this world. We are constantly tied in to whose kid is whose.
Yeah.
Right? Well, every one of us are the children of a God that is the most powerful, most capable creator of all things. If I'm his kid, what can I do?
Wow.
And so if I'm an unstoppable woman of God, then my picture, my vision, it can be whatever I want it to be, and I can go create it. And I don't have to look backwards, and I don't have to assume that my past dictates my future. And I don't have to feel concerned about the things I don't have control of because I don't have to do it alone.
Dang. That's an amazing way to explain that. And I apologize. So I stood up. It reminded me of this quote that I actually found this morning.
I love it. Let's hear it.
Talking about being unstoppable. And I wanted to share it with you because I want to hear your thoughts on it. And the quote is by Bruce Lee.
Okay, awesome.
Okay? And it starts off kind of different. It says, because you might as well be dead. Seriously, if you always put limits on what you can do physically or anything else, it'll spread over into the rest of your life. It'll spread into your work, into your morality, into your entire being. There are no limits. There are only plateaus. But you must not stay there. You must go beyond them. If it kills you, it kills you. A man or woman must constantly exceed his or her level. Whoa.
Yeah.
And that's really what you basically are saying to yourself. Instead of saying, well, I've got limits, I can't do this, you're like, no, I'm unstoppable, knowing that I'm a daughter or a child of God, right?
That's right.
Is that what you're saying?
That's right. And one of my favorite quotes that I think goes right along with that
please.
is it's actually from George Lucas. And he said, we are all in cages with the doors wide open.
Ooh.
And he just talked about how if we're all living in a cage, but the door is wide open, why do we place so many limitations on us? Why do we sit down in a space and say, no, I guess I'm not capable of doing that? Really? Do you know who your father is? Like why limitations? Why must we place limitations?
I know. It's almost like everyone seems to do it, so we just like, well, they do it too, so I'm going to do it too.
Yeah.
It's weird that we do that. Like,
well, and again, it comes back to that picture of the past.
Yeah.
We define what we're capable of doing by what we've seen either ourselves or others do in the past.
Yeah.
The irony of that is the people who have changed everything are the people who refuse to live that way. The person who says, no, I can figure out an airplane. Well, I'm sure glad they can, because I don't have any idea how that sucker flies, but I happily get on them, right?
Same here. I'm like, how does this stay in the air?
Think about that. Or electricity or the internet. I mean, all of these things where if all of us were so busy looking at what had been done in the past, we wouldn't even have indoor plumbing. Right? Like we have to allow ourselves to forward think, to think bigger, to think about something I want, to think about that thing that just like just activates my soul and lights me on fire, and I don't have a clue how it could be done, right? Mm-hmm. But the how, the how is just not your business.
Yeah.
And we talk about this a lot, but the picture of the vision and the attachment to identity, you have to get the how out of the way because you'll limit yourself. We had a gentleman in prison who was serving 6 life sentences. And I talked to him. I said, I need you to have a vision of the future. And he said, Natty, my parole officer hadn't even been born yet. Like, I will die in this place. The vision of my future looks like being in charge of the laundry. He's like, why would I get excited about a vision? I said, just work with me here. We talked a lot about why vision it's not dream casting.
Yeah.
It is literally putting a picture in front of you that is so important, because without it, you will constantly live in your past.
Yeah.
And I talked about what he really wanted. He said, I just really want to be happy. I said, if we want to be happy, are you happy in the past? Because if you really want to be happy and you weren't happy in the past, then staring at the past isn't going to get it done.
Right.
What do you really want? Well, we went for 6, 7, 8 weeks, and he would come in with this vision of the laundry or vision of I'm happy. I'm like, well, what does happy look like? 8 weeks later, he finally broke down. He said, I have a vision, but I'm not going to tell it to you because it's just so stupid, because there's no way it can be done. There's no how. It can't be done. I said, the how's not your business. What's the vision? He said, I want to be a helicopter pilot. I said, okay, let's write about it. He said, why would I write about it? It's not possible. I can't keep telling you this. I'm going to die in this place. I said, keep writing about it. Next week he came in. He said, it's not just a helicopter pilot. It's a rescue pilot. I said, cool. What are we rescuing people from? He goes, I just picture myself. I'm flying into these high-risk situations, and I'm pulling people out, and I'm taking them to safety. I said, that's awesome. Keep writing about it. Fast forward. He's been writing about this. This man who is serving 6 life sentences will never get out.
Yeah.
And he came in one day and he said, I finally figured out who I am. I said, who are you? And he said, I am free. And I said, you're free. And he goes, I am free. And I am a rescue pilot to the men around me that will never, ever, I will never walk out of these doors. And because of me, they will never walk back in them. He said, I will teach them what you have been teaching me.
Gosh.
And I will make sure that when they go out of here, they do not come back. I will rescue them. I am a rescue pilot. And I am free. And I have never seen a happier man. He has been teaching with us in the prison for over a year now.
Really?
And the men he teaches, when they get out, they do exceptionally well on the outside.
Yeah.
And he flew them out of there and rescued them and landed them in safe places. And
It's amazing.
I just think,
wow, I'm tearing up here.
the
Seriously,
how-
like this is.
the how is just not our business. If we will just get out of the way and claim the picture that we want.
That's like a miracle. Like, think about it. That's a
It
miracle.
is.
I'm
It
sorry.
is.
It just is.
It is a miracle, and the miracles are everywhere, and we are the only ones limiting them.
Wow.
If we will claim what we want, if we will own who we are.
You know what's crazy? I was just thinking of this. Here's these people who've done obviously some bad things. They get thrown into prison, and then the blessing is they get to sit with you. I mean, it's almost not fair. I'm just being, and I'm not trying to make you feel weird. I'm just like, it's amazing what you do for people. Like, and to think that, they go to the prison probably in their minds, this is the worst thing ever in my life, the worst thing that ever possibly happened to me. But then they get to sit down with you and learn, and you push them and you teach them. And I mean, we all need this. Like, I'm sitting here going, that is a miracle. Sorry, I hope that was okay to say that.
No, that was okay. We actually had a woman in prison on Monday or on Wednesday of this week who came to class, and she said, she said, because of you, this is no longer a prison for me. She said it is an education and a capacity for me to have something in my life I never would have had without this.
Wow.
And and I think all of us have the opportunity to have that in our lives with so many things if we will look forward, if we will cast vision of what we want, even with the education, without her willingness to paint a picture of something she wanted in a really scary place, in a hard way, where it feels almost impossible to have something different in my life. So easy to stare at the past. So easy because she's reminded of the past every day. She wears the past on her chest as a badge with a number and a name, and she's called a nickname every day of the crimes that she committed. So easy to stay totally locked into the past. So hard to claim the future. And because she did claim the future, even though her circumstances didn't change, the joy in her life is substantially different.
Wow.
It's one of my other favorite quotes, is that the joy in our lives has very little to do with our circumstances and everything to do with the focus of our lives. If we're focusing forward, if we're focusing on who we are and what we want, we can experience joy regardless of circumstance because we will change behavior. Yeah. This gentleman that's serving all these life sentences, he was a giant pain in the butt in prison. Right? Because what's he got to lose?
Yeah.
I bet you, what are you going to lock me up here for another year? Yeah, I'm never getting out of here.
I'm never leaving. So
I'm never leaving. So I might, what can you do to me? And that was the attitude that he had. And now, like, he hasn't had a single write-up. He's the guy that the officers now go to have them help. Like, he has
amazing.
become, it's changed how he treats his physical body. It's changed how he gets up and exercises in the morning, changes how he eats, changes how he shows up for people. He's got a smile on his face all the time, and his address is never changing.
Yeah.
I cannot reemphasize that enough. Like, our circumstances, our address does not have to change. Our picture
focus
has to change, and our focus has to change.
Because instead of focusing on, I'm never getting out of here, oh no, I'm a helicopter pilot. I rescue people, and I'm going to rescue everyone that leaves here, and they'll never come back.
That's right.
Whew. That gives me
the purpose,
goosebumps.
Right? The purpose
Seriously.
And the fulfillment that can come when we change the picture, when we own who we are. Wow. It will change how we feel, and because it changes how we feel, it'll change how we behave. And if we change our behavior, everything changes. Yeah. So many people try to go straight for the behavior with our kids. I need them to be obedient. Okay, start with the picture. Figure out who they are. Let them feel something, and then let them choose to change that behavior and self-govern and self-motivate. It's way better than moving straight to hack away at that behavior. Yeah. Right?
For sure. Hack away. It doesn't work.
Doesn't work. Yeah.
You waste a lot of energy.
We waste a lot. Yeah. We got really messy dishes, right? Like, that's, if you just attack the behavior, just really messy dishes. But when you go with vision and understanding and identity and feeling, you end up with 3 boys who walk out as brothers.
Wow. Right? My goodness. So tell our listeners, like, what exactly you do. What is your business called? What does it look like? And who are you trying to reach and that kind of thing?
So my business is called Ascend EQ, and we work with people on, we have a framework that we teach people. And most often I get the question, are you a life coach? And the answer to that is no. I'm an emotional intelligence coach. Yeah, I like that. I call it emotional performance even. Because my objective is not to have a client long term. Yeah. My objective is, I want you to work with me for 12 weeks. I want to arm you with tools. I want to empower you with tools that I teach you with fierce vigor how to apply into your life, so that because I can't teach you how to handle every circumstance in life, but if I can teach you the tool, and you can teach you how to apply it, regardless of circumstance, it will work for you always. Yeah. And so I work with individuals. I teach them tools. I empower them to be able to function in their life with first understanding, so that can shift a belief in themselves. And with that, they will change their own behaviors. Most people come to me because they have a behavior they don't love. Yeah. I keep losing my crap with my kids. I got an addiction. I don't know why I can't lose weight. It's all behavioral driven.
Yeah.
And they're always shocked when we don't ever talk about that behavior for weeks.
Yeah.
Because once we've changed understanding and belief, all of those behaviors change and their life changes.
Yeah, it's automatic. At
It's
that point.
automatic.
Yeah.
And so we teach those tools because every single thing, every single part of life is emotional.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing we don't talk about it.
Right.
We are raised, don't cry. You know, there's no crying in baseball. We're like, we don't stop crying, stop complaining, stop whining, stop feeling, you know, wipe your tears. Like we are constantly being told growing up not to feel things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I don't think anybody really was raised with some great emotional intelligence.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And so as we teach, like it's okay, like bring those into the understanding, allow them to move you in the right way. And then our emotions become our superpower.
Ooh, yeah.
Like my emotions were debilitating for me when I didn't understand them and when I was afraid of them. And my emotions became my superpower when I understood them enough to let them shape me and help me and empower me. And I believe that that is possible for everybody. And so that's what I do. I focus mostly on high achievers, really, people who want more out of their life.
Yeah.
And recently I work with a lot of teens, a lot of parents sending me their teenagers. And I'm having a great time with that, I might add. I love it. And and then once a week I get to go to prison. And that is a great blessing in my life.
Boy, it sounds like it, especially with the stories you've shared already. Oh, my goodness. It's amazing. Well, I love what you do. Again, I love your energy. I love your passion, and I love your intelligence, honestly, around all of this, because this has been your life's work. And I look back and thinking, had you not had that horrible experience after having your fourth child, maybe you wouldn't be going down this road where you're at now, right? I mean, so...
Yeah, that might be, while we're on the theme of great quotes, another great quote that I love is like, what if the worst thing that ever happened to you actually turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to you?
Yeah.
Right. And I think, I mean, you can relate to that experience where it's like
sure.
the life's experiences that you thought this is hell on earth.
Yeah.
And the way you've been able to turn it around and use it to bless and benefit other people's lives and including your own.
Yeah.
And that's become a powerful thing and not unintentionally.
Yeah, I agree. Life happens for us. I really believe that. It's hard to see it in the moment, but then you can look back and go, oh, yeah, that led to this and this led to that. And here I am today talking to Natty.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? This is so cool.
But I think that's because you took the approach, like if either life is happening to you or you're happening to life.
Right.
And that doesn't mean we dictate our circumstances. It just dictates what we do with our circumstances.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Good way to put it. If there's someone listening to you right now, Natty, that's just in a dark place, they're struggling, they're suffering, and they're listening right now to you. You've already said some really powerful things, but what would you tell that one person right now who's in that headspace?
Yeah, I would tell them to get a picture. I would tell them first to move their body. We don't realize it, but when we're in the dark places, we need to move our body.
We need to move, yeah.
And we usually sit or lay or stop.
Yep.
And so I would say go for a walk. And while you're walking, engage your senses and look at 5 things that you're grateful for that you can see, and 4 things that you're grateful for that you can hear, and 3 things that you're grateful for that you can touch, and 2 things you're grateful for that you can smell, and 1 thing you're grateful for that you can taste. And while you're walking and moving your mind in a moment of gratitude, then paint a picture. Not what do you not have, not what do you lack, not what has come before, but what do you really, really want? And answer the question, if I could have anything and there were no limitations, what would I have?
Ooh.
What would I do and what would I be? And when you've answered those questions, I want to know how you feel. And with that feeling, I want you to claim it. If you feel powerful, then I am powerful. If you feel hopeful, then I am hopeful.
Yeah.
And then I want you to ask yourself, how does a powerful person show up for the challenge I'm facing in my life right now?
Yeah.
And start to do different because you feel different, because you see a different picture.
Yeah. Wow. Beautifully said. Thanks for sharing that. I learned so much from you. And I just love your insight on everything. And I think, anyone listening to this who is in that dark space, I really believe this. I know you just said it to them, but if you guys would just do it, give it a shot. What do you got to lose? You're already not feeling very good about things. Do what Natty's saying and see if you do not see a difference almost immediately. I mean, just moving, you're going to feel a little bit better just by going around, walk around the block.
Yep.
You know, those little things go a long way. So I appreciate your insight on that as well.
Yeah. Well, and we don't realize how much our senses are attached to how we feel.
Yeah.
And so if we move our body and engage our senses, we can open up our mind. And if we can do that, we can get a new picture. And if we can do that, we can change the way we feel. And if we change the way we feel, we can claim different. And if we claim different because we feel different, because we see different, we will do different.
Yeah.
Not because we have to force ourselves off the couch, but because we actually want to.
We want to, yeah.
And that right there will take somebody who is in paralyzing anxiety and move them into action. And
yeah. And
that's what I learned all those years ago, right?
Yep.
The picture had everything to do with it.
Yeah. And I love when you say claim it.
Yeah.
Like claim it. It's okay to claim it. You know, what follows I am follows you. I am powerful. Okay. Claim that. Yeah, I am powerful. What would a powerful person do right now?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and claim it in the dark days. I might have shared the story the last time I was on, but it's just so relevant I have to share it again.
No, please do.
I grew up, like we said, I was the youngest of 6 kids, and we had one bathroom. And one bathroom with 6 kids is just not a great situation. And,
no, it isn't.
And it worked out okay for me anyways, because I was in the 7th grade, which, you know, frankly, we all believe is a socially defining time of life and maybe social hell for all human beings. And we're trying to figure out how to get rid of the 7th grade, right? Because it's never good for anybody, but you can't just bypass it. So here we are. We enter the 7th grade, and I am vertically challenged. I'm horizontally blessed. I got braces, I got glasses, I got acne making its first appearance. Like, what? That bless you for gracing me right now. And my mom decides to perm my hair. Well, that's fine, but she cut it short and permed it, and then she permed the bangs. Like, you don't perm the bangs.
Wow,
Everybody knows you
boom.
don't perm the bangs. I was a disaster.
Yeah.
Right? I had really bad hair, glasses, braces, acne, vertically challenged, horizontally blessed. I mean, it was, and socially awkward, because I went from being this tomboy and who loved recess, was my favorite subject in elementary school, to 7th grade, where I have to like boys and not just treat them like a football player and engage with them socially. And there is no recess. Like, who made that decision? Like talks later.
Right?
Yeah. So this is me. And I have the self-esteem the size of a pea, right? So it's like I get ready in the morning, and I go in. I was the last to get ready. I got bathroom time last because I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest, yeah.
Worked fine by me. I didn't need more than 32 seconds anyway, because I wasn't going to look at all this, right? All this was a problem. So I walk into the bathroom. It's like a quick tuff of the hair, a brush of the teeth, and zip out the door, because I'm not going to look here anyway, so I didn't like that. But one day I was getting ready, and my older sister, had been in the bathroom getting ready, and she had her music playing a little too loud, of course, which was her usual MO. But this time I walked in and I heard, "I'm too sexy for my love, too sexy for me." We all know this song, right? And I'm doing my bad hair, and I'm doing my brushing my teeth, and I'm just getting into this song. And I go to school that day, and my best friend was like, "What's with you? Like, you're just so different today."
Yeah.
I was like, "I know. I'm too sexy."
Yeah.
Right? Like today,
Yeah.
I'm too sexy. And it was amazing how that carried with me all day in everything that I did. Right? Mr. Hot Pants in my science class was like, "Hey, cool shoes." And I was like, "Yes, they are. I'm sexy." Right? I just claimed it. I just owned it in everything I did. And I walked a little taller.
Yeah.
And I held my head up. And I looked at myself. And I talked to people. And I engaged in my own life. And when people are at the bottom, it is so powerful to just claim a different picture. I had for a moment a different picture. I didn't see my acne, and I didn't see my bad hair, and I didn't see my braces and my glasses and my social awkwardness. I didn't see that. I saw a girl that was too sexy, going to school, having friends, and living life.
Yeah.
And that picture changed the way I saw myself, which made me feel different. And I claimed a different identity, which made me act different.
Yeah.
And that construct, if people will just allow themselves, they will feel different. They will feel better. They will do different. And because of that, they will have different.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. It's a great story. I'm too sexy for my shirt.
That's right.
Yeah, I love that. Well, if someone wants to reach out to you, Natty, and wants to know more about what you do, maybe they want to hire you or have you come speak for them or work with one of their kids, what's the best way for someone to reach out to you, and where
Yeah.
would they go?
They can go to ascendeq.com. Matter of fact, if people want to learn a little bit more even about emotional intelligence, there's a free little video on there that they
great.
can have access
Okay.
to that really, it's also really helpful for anybody who has anxiety. That's why
Okay.
we put it on there.
Gotcha.
So free little download they can just watch. That'll be super helpful to them. That's on ascendeq.com. Or they can find me on Instagram. I'm natty.o.lewis.
Okay.
And they can reach out with direct message, and we'll engage with them from
Okay,
there.
and we'll put both those links obviously on the show notes when
I
we go
appreciate it.
live, and I encourage anyone listening to this to reach out to you, even if they just have a question, and
Yeah.
or to tell you thanks for the stuff
Absolutely.
you've shared today.
We would
and-
love to hear from them.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the show again.
No, it's a pleasure.
Seriously, like
It's a pleasure.
I could talk to you all day. This is
Same.
good stuff. This is good stuff. But yeah, I really appreciate all that you do, your passion and how you do it, and the way you carry yourself. You really do light up a room, and I'm grateful to know you, and I'm grateful that we're doing this again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me back, Todd.
Okay, you betcha. Well, there you go, folks. Another amazing episode with Natty Lewis. Please reach out to her. If you have a friend, a son or a daughter or a coworker that's struggling, send them a link to this episode and have them listen to it. And then follow back up with them and ask them what they thought and what they took away from it. I guarantee you it's going to brighten their day on some level for sure. So please do that. I know that most of you actually do that. So thank you for all your support. Again, thanks to my sponsors. I appreciate you believing in me. It means the world. And Natty, you're the best. And I wish you all the best with everything that you're doing.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Till next time, everyone. Love you guys.